Welcome to the first episode of the Do You Know Ball podcast. I'm Pat,
Matt.
and together we're going to talk about some MLB and some NBA. So, shifting right into our first topic, Shohei Ohtani, short-term deal. Is he going to be willing to sign a short-term deal that bets on himself? What team do you think he's going to sign with?
Okay. So personally, I don't think he signs another short-term deal, mainly because of his injury. And I just think the past like 2, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, he's just been undoubtedly the best player in baseball. That I just think signing a short-term deal would not make sense for him. I personally like this is the Dodgers guy to lose. I think the Dodgers are gonna go all out 12 years, 15 years, 10 years. I don't know. I think they're gonna give him over 500 million, and I think he should take it. I think anything under 500 million, I think he should just laugh and just send the offer right back to them.
Well, I personally think that he will sign with the Dodgers, but I think a lot of MLB teams are going to be scared to offer him that $500 million contract, especially since they know he can't pitch in 2024. So
Mm-hmm.
because of the UCL tear, you know, I don't think many MLB teams are going to offer him that major contract, which is why I think he's going to bet on himself. But if we're going to talk about betting on yourself and a short-term contract, the Mets could offer him a short-term
No,
contract.
no,
You don't
that's
believe
not
you don't think
happening.
that?
That's just not happening. It's not gonna happen.
It could be a short-term contract with some opt-outs.
My question is, what did you're the Mets fan? Billy Epler,
Mhm.
what did he say? Like, we're not going to be competitive until 2025, is it?
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
2026? So why would, if these years, especially if they're going to rumored to trade Pete Alonso, if they are not going to contend for these next couple of years, why would they give Ohtani a short-term deal?
Well, the thing with Ohtani is, he's a prominent star. So I think he checks off a certain box for the Mets, but he doesn't check every box for the Mets. So knowing that, he can come into the DH role, which we haven't had for many years now. Daniel Vogelback was our, as you know, I'm sure you know that he was our main guy for the DH role last year. So I think if the Mets really wanted to go out and get somebody to make a difference in that spot, I think they should go out and get Shohei if that's what they were looking for. But I think they're going to go young. I think they're going to go young, but any team would love Shohei.
You're absolutely correct. Any team would be stupid to not go after Shohei, but I think it's honestly down to like maybe 4 or 5 teams at this point. And no one really knows where Ohtani stands because he hasn't really talked to any press since like the beginning of August. So we don't know where he even wants to go. So it's going to be a long off season. Hopefully it's short because I do want to know where he's going to sign soon.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll find out where the two-time AL MVP is going to go this offseason, but
Yeah.
you really can't mention big name talent without bringing up the Juan Soto sweepstakes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and this is a one team game. This has the New York Yankees written all over it, and it just makes sense. The question is, will Brian Cashman and will Hal Steinbrenner cough up the pieces to get it done?
Okay, since you're a Yankee fan, right?
Yes.
I want to hear what trade package you guys would offer for Juan Soto to come to the
Okay.
Yankees this year.
Yes. Glad you said that, Pat. So the Padres, the whole reason they want to trade Soto is they're really trying to get rid of some salary. They're trying to shed some salary. You still have Bogarts locked up for long. You have Manny, you have Tatis. They are all locked up long term. So obviously the odd man out and the guy that's probably going to end up making more than all of them, Juan Soto, got to get rid of him. Now it's been rumored they do want possibly some major league ready arms because they already have some hitting lineup like already set in stone, so they need pitchers. It could potentially come down to not as expensive as you might think. It could be maybe a Clark Schmidt, could be a Mike King. If they want some pitching prospects, the Yankees have Drew Thorpe, Clayton Beater, who I think was just added to the 40-man roster the other day. It's not going to be as much as you think. The Padres gave up a lot to get Soto, and they're going to trade him, and they are not going to get anything close back to what they gave up.
Well,
So
no, they
if the
can't.
Yankees,
They can't
yeah, no,
because
hmm
it's only a 1 year deal type
hmm
thing. So whatever they're gonna get for Soto is gonna be limited because of that fact.
hmm and it also just depends. Like the Yankees, me personally, I'm fine with moving on from Everson Pereira. I don't know if the Yankees are willing to do that. We also have Spencer Jones. I am willing to move on to him also. I think the only two people that the Yankees see as untouchable in this scenario would be Volpe and Jason Dominguez. And I honestly agree with that, but at the same time, I don't think anyone should be off limits to get Juan Soto, especially if you can lock him in long term.
So you'd be willing to offer pretty much any prospect that the Padres would want, except for Dominguez and Volpe.
Yeah, yeah. It could come down to like a Drew Thorpe type deal, Chase Hampton, some of our top pitching prospects. I think Drew Thorpe was just minor league pitcher of the year. So if they really want it, they could have it. They're all not all, but they're close to being major league ready. So
Yeah, well, with every Yankee comment, there's always a Mets side of things. Um,
let's
I
hear it.
feel like the Mets aren't gonna go for Juan Soto because you know, they have other things to look forward to. But like, they do have the assets to go out and get him if they wanted to, because any team would be willing to take a deal with three of the Mets prospects that I'm gonna name, and these prospects don't have any use to the Mets unless it's just a let's see where we're at and see what people we could ship out that don't play up to par. So first prospect on my list that I'm gonna mention is Kevin Parada. You know, he's projected to be better than Francisco Alvarez, but you know, I don't think the Mets truthfully need to keep him because we've seen what Francisco Alvarez could do. We saw his power, we saw how his bat affected the lineup last year. So I do believe the Mets could part ways with Kevin Parada,
Mm-hmm.
and we could also part ways with Jet Williams. Jet Williams does not have a future with this team because we have Lindor under contract till 2031. So that being said, he should go to a team where they're going to need a shortstop for the next couple of years. And then finally, just Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty hasn't shown us enough, and he's played for the team for what, a year and a half now. And last year he was just, I mean, I remember going to that game. I went to a Dodgers Mets game last year, and holy Christ, when I saw him drop that ball and then hit off his face, that's the moment I
That
know that,
that was yeah,
yeah, that,
that was phenomenal. I think it was one of the best things I've ever seen on social media.
oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure you do. I just, I just think it's time to move on from him because especially with Ronnie Mauricio, Ronnie Mauricio could play third base if he wanted to, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about converting him there, and he's shown us more promise than Beatty has ever in the year and a half that he's been with us in the big leagues. That's my
I do, yeah, I do want to say Kevin Pryor is a catcher, right?
Kevin Prada is a catcher.
Okay. So the Padres' top prospect, Ethan Salas. I hope I'm saying that right. He's a catcher. And if I recall, he's like 18 years old, 17 years old. So they're really trying to get him up. He's one of baseball's top prospects. He's a stud. He's younger than us, and he's a professional baseball player. It's crazy. And also, you said something about Jet Williams. What is he,
Mhm.
shortstop,
He's a
right?
shortstop,
Whatever.
primary shortstop.
Padres, they have Bogarts at short for the
They
foreseeable
do.
future.
They do.
Even at second base, they have Kim at second base. You have Machado at third base.
Hmm.
Um, so even if you give Brett Beatty along with that, the Padres infield is probably their most stacked position. So would they even be willing to take on those three? Because I personally think they'd be more interested in pitching. And do the Mets have the pitching prospects to
Well,
get the deal done?
yeah, well they have Vassell, right? They have Mike Vassell, but um another thing with Jet Williams, he can play the outfield too. That's his secondary position. So I mean, it's not all about the infield too for the Padres, but he could play the outfield and could fill in a spot where they need it. But like you said, those two prospects could come up, can be better potentially than the two prospects that we're giving them, and they already have certain things for the infield. So I mean, it's just a pipe dream, kind of like it's just an idea. It's not nothing set
So
in
yeah,
stone. Obviously, we'll see what happens with the Soto thing. Um, but whoever lands him sure is sure gonna be winning a lot of games because he is a
Boris,
difference
yeah,
maker.
Boris is
So,
gonna sign that 500 million, maybe plus.
mm,
I assume he's gonna, if anything, he'll get traded after Ohtani signs because I think Boris is gonna want to see what a potential contract offer is going to look like, and he's probably going to want to make more than Cody Bellinger, whatever he gets, and probably more than what he declined from the Nationals a couple of years ago to get his money's worth. So we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see where he goes.
yeah, we'll definitely see.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking about awards too, this week, the Cy Young for both AL and NL was released, and the MVPs were released for both leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Garrett Cole, Garrett Cole.
That's he deserves it 100%. He was unanimous. The first Yankee since Ron Guidry, I believe, to be unanimous in Cy Young voting. Um, he's honestly should have probably won it. At least it should be his third award, to be totally honest with you. But this is his first time, so I'm very happy for him. I feel like there should be no debate in saying he is the best pitcher in the entire league, not just AL. I will die on a hill for that, not just because I'm a Yankees fan, but I just think that's the truth. He deserved it. Gosman had a hell of a season also pitching, but you know, Garrett Cole just in the end, was phenomenal. He deserved it. I don't really have much else to say for him. Blake Snell, one of the most random two-time Cy Young winners ever. Um, high high amount of walks, high walk rate, very weird. But I also do think he deserved to win it, and he's going to be a free agent too. So I'm very curious to see what teams are going to offer him.
You think he's gonna sign back with the Padres?
No,
Blake Snow?
I don't.
No,
No, I they want to cut money. I think he's going to be a Philly. I have a feeling.
a Philly,
I
a
do. I think
Philly.
Aaron Nola is gone, and I think they replace him with Blake Snell.
Mm,
They, Phillies, they always spend. They don't care. They want to win. I respect it. I
they
think Blake
do
Snell
always
will be in
spend.
Philly.
They
Mm-hmm.
do always spend.
They do.
But also the MVPs, right? Two-time MVP, Ohtani for the AL. Obviously, we knew where that was gonna happen,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Acuna, no doubt, won the NL MVP. He just had an outstanding year. Even though I
yeah.
hate the guy, I hate the guy so much. But that's neither here nor there.
He's a cool guy.
Two great players won the awards this year, and it
Mm-hmm.
was the first unanimous MVP ballot in the MLB. So, I mean, it's good for the both of them, but again, on the Acuna side, kind of wish he didn't win. Kind of don't like that he won.
It was very close throughout the entire season between him and Mookie, but I guess just at the end, kind of pulled away with it.
He did, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to give credit where credit's due. Like he had an insane year. Too bad they didn't go anywhere in the postseason.
At
But
least they made the postseason, but
I mean, buddy, we
that's
can't really
that.
talk about that.
Well, I'm just saying, you're
I
taking
mean,
shots at the Braves, so
there's no shots at the Braves, but you guys didn't make the postseason either. So
but we have 27 rings though. So what's your
I
point?
mean, that's another topic for another day.
27 rings,
That's
yeah.
another topic for another day. But
We'll get into it. Yeah.
um, I guess just wrapping up things, right? We're gonna mention we gotta mention the Oakland A's Coliseum and what's going on with them. They're officially
It's
relocating to Las Vegas, and the owner says it's a bad day for Oakland, but a good day for Las Vegas. Any thoughts
yeah,
on that?
yeah, it's terrible for the game. I think it's terrible for Oakland in general. They lost what? three sports teams in the past however many years. You lose the A's now, lose the Raiders, and if you want to count the Warriors, also they've moved to San Francisco, like the new arena. I'm pretty sure. So if you want to count the Warriors, also, it's terrible. I feel for them. A's fans don't deserve it. Every year or every couple of years, they accumulate great talent just for them to be sold off when the owner doesn't want to pay them. It's terrible. Matt Olson, they got scraps for. Sean Murphy, honestly, I can't tell you what they got for Sean Murphy. It's just, it's not great. I feel for the fans. I know Vegas is a much bigger market. Probably would be very fun to have some baseball games in Vegas, but it's a terrible situation to be in.
Yeah, it's bad for the game. It's really bad for the game. I hope that everything works out in the end for them and they end up loving Las Vegas. But those new I can't even imagine looking at the new uniforms with Las Vegas across the chest. It doesn't feel the same. It's not the A's anymore.
Mm-mm.
So I
Mm-mm.
could feel it because I can imagine as a Mets fan, like instead of New York, it's like Tennessee or something crazy like that. Like I wouldn't imagine, you know, anything like that happening in New York. So I could feel for the fans.
You think they're going to be green still? You think they're going to go? You think they're going to rebrand, or you think they're going to stay green?
I think they're gonna stay green. I think they're gonna stay
I think
green. I think they're gonna keep the colors. If they don't keep the colors, then that'll be even worse for the A's fans.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
you know, it's going live in 2028. It's going live in 2028, so they will be playing in the Coliseum next year and for the next couple of years. So I guess we're gonna see what happens with that in the next couple of years. Um, but yeah, I do not think that this is good for baseball, and I wish the best for Oakland A's fans.
I if there's any left, I feel for you guys. For
If there's any
for
left.
the 10 of you that are still out there, I'm sorry for your loss.
Shots at the A's fans. Way to kick them when they're already down.
Well, I think they'd feel the same way as me right now. I wouldn't want to associate with that terrible organization either. So
Terrible organization. That's crazy. All
it's
right.
it's how it is.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up the first episode of Do You Know Ball. We'll be back each Friday, right? Each Friday we're gonna be
It's
doing an
Friday.
episode. It's not just about MLB, it's about NBA too. We like to touch on both of those sports because they're both main sports that we know the most about and stuff like that. But breaking news and everything like that, we're gonna cover that, and we're gonna see where it goes in the next couple of weeks. We'll see you in episode 2. Matt, you got anything to say?
Do you know ball?
Do you know
That's it.
ball?
That's it.
Do you know ball?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll catch you next Friday around the same time.